Hello everyone. Today we're stepping into one of the most dangerous worlds imaginable, a world that's been completely consumed by chaos. Demons and terrifying monsters roam freely, turning human life into a living nightmare. Humanity is on the verge of extinction and the entire world has fallen apart. But right in the middle of all this chaos, our main character finally makes his entrance. His name is Shui Ying. People also know him as the legendary Snake Hunter, a fearless rebel who once committed the ultimate taboo. He killed a god. Not only that, he also wiped out the corrupt officials who abused their power. Because of what he did, his name spread across both the human world and the underworld. Everyone knows who he is, and everyone fears him. Simply put, Sui Ying is the kind of guy who bows to no one. Wherever evil exists, he's the one who destroys it. The story begins with an incredible scene. A group of cultivators, people standing on the edge of immortality, are trying to break through to their next cultivation realm. As every cultivator knows, reaching a higher realm means surviving the terrifying heavenly lightning tribulation. But this time, something is horribly wrong. One of the cultivators suddenly shouts in frustration, "What kind of lightning tribulation is this? No one could possibly survive something like this." Normally, a breakthrough only triggers around 10 or 15 lightning strikes. That's already dangerous enough. But this time, instead of a few bolts, more than 8,000 bolts of heavenly lightning crashed down from the sky, which was absolute insanity. After that disaster, thousands of years pass, and during that time, the entire world changes. The imperial court, which was meant to protect humanity, falls under the control of the 8 great clans. They begin ruling however they please. Taking advantage of the chaos, the leaders of the spirit world start appointing new gods on a massive scale. Their goal is simple: to strip humanity of the little authority and freedom it has left. As a result, demons and monsters thrive. Meanwhile, ordinary humans become the biggest victims. The villagers are completely powerless. The only way they can survive is by worshipping the gods and praying for mercy. Coincidentally, today is the annual day of divine worship. The entire village is busy preparing for the ceremony. But just as everything is about to begin, a gigantic snake monster suddenly attacks the village. The moment it appears, panic erupts everywhere. Everyone runs for their lives. Everyone, except one young man. That's right, it's none other than our hero, Sui Ying, the legendary snake hunter. Without the slightest fear, he walks straight toward the giant snake. Then, he grabs the monster and slams it into the ground so hard that the earth itself shakes. The furious snake roars, "You arrogant brat! How dare you interrupt my meal?" But Shui Ying doesn't waste time talking. Without saying a single word, he charges forward. Punch after punch crashes into the giant snake, shattering several of its bones. Finally, with one last devastating blow, he completely defeats it. The enormous snake immediately shrinks back into its original form. Its name is Niu Yuanqi. With the monster defeated, the villagers finally breathe a sigh of relief. They gather around Shui Ying and thank him for saving their lives. Among them is Uncle Jiang. He's not Shui Ying's biological father, he's his adoptive father. When Shui Ying was still a child, he lost both of his parents. His real parents were also snake hunters, but during a mission to hunt the snake god, they were killed. After their deaths, Uncle Jiang took Shui Ying in and raised him like his own son. That's why Shui Ying chose to follow in his parents' footsteps. He became a snake hunter to protect the people of his village from monsters. After defeating the giant snake, Sui Ying quietly heads home. Meanwhile, Niu Yuanqi is completely confused. He's now convinced that Shui Ying is far more than an ordinary snake hunter. There has to be a secret behind his incredible strength. Unable to control his curiosity, he secretly follows Shui Ying home and watches him through the window. What he sees leaves him completely stunned. Sui Ying is actually a cultivator. He's cultivating by absorbing the natural essence of both the sun and the moon. But that's not even the most shocking part. The cultivation technique Sui Ying is using doesn't belong to humans. It's a secret technique of the spirit race. Niu Yuanqi can't believe his eyes. He's clearly human, so how can he use a spirit race cultivation technique? And the impossible doesn't stop there. Sui Ying absorbs the surrounding energy even faster than members of the spirit race themselves. Just then, Uncle Jiang arrives. "Come on, Shui Ying," he says. "Today's the annual divine worship ceremony. You should come with us." But Shui Ying immediately shakes his head. "I'm not going. I'm broke, and I don't have anything worth offering to those low-level gods." The moment Uncle Jiang hears that, his face turns pale. He quickly covers Shui Ying's mouth. "Don't ever say something like that. The gods are powerful. They can hear every word you say." But Shui Ying refuses to change his mind. "If I show up at that ceremony, nothing good will happen. It'll only bring trouble." Realizing he can't convince him, Uncle Jiang finally gives up and leaves on his own. As soon as he's gone, Sui Ying turns his attention to the captured snake. He grabs Niu Yuanqi between his fingers and says coldly, "Answer every question honestly, or I'll kill you." The little snake starts trembling in fear. Sui Ying asks his first question: "How did a normal snake become a spirit being?" Desperate to survive, Niu Yuanqi immediately tells him everything. It was all an accident. A long time ago, my grandfather wandered into a mysterious cave. There he found a glowing medicinal pill, and without thinking he swallowed it. The moment he did, a miracle happened. His intelligence awakened. He suddenly learned how to speak like a human, recognize written words, and even read books. Later, he discovered an ancient cultivation manual. After cultivating it for many years, he eventually became a powerful snake spirit. And that intelligence and power have been passed down through every generation until they finally reached me. After hearing the story, Xue Ying becomes interested in the cultivation manual and asks to see it. The moment he opens the book, he immediately recognizes it. This is the great sun guiding technique. But then, something catches his attention. Looking at the snake, he asks, "You don't even have hands or feet. So why are you learning a fist technique?" Niu Yuanqi lets out a helpless sigh. "I practice whatever cultivation manual I can find. Monsters like me don't get to choose." As Xue Ying continues flipping through the pages, one particular technique catches his eye. Its name is Ox Demon Elephant Strength Fist. Meanwhile, at the Jiang clan ancestral shrine, the entire village has gathered for the annual divine worship ceremony. Suddenly, something strange happens inside the shrine. The stone statue of the village's god begins to move. Moments later, it comes to life. That god is Tan Chang, the guardian god of Jiang village. As I mentioned earlier, this world has become a playground for these so-called gods. They've stolen humanity's authority and turned ordinary people into nothing more than their servants. Their oppression has reached the point where the villagers are forced to worship them twice every month and offer valuable sacrifices. But today, Tan Chang is furious. The offerings aren't enough to satisfy him. Trembling with fear, the village elder steps forward and hands him a scroll, listing every villager and the offerings they brought. As Tan Chang scans the list, one name immediately catches his attention. Someone showed up without bringing a single offering. That person is Xue Ying's beloved uncle, Uncle Jiang Lu. Meanwhile, back at home, Xue Ying is completely focused on practicing the Ox Demon Elephant Strength Fist. Just then, he overhears two villagers whispering as they walk past. They say Jiang Lu came to today's ceremony empty-handed. Everyone knows he's dirt poor, but showing up before a god without an offering, that's basically asking to die. There's no way Tan Chang will forgive that. He'll destroy Jiang Lu and his entire family. The moment Xue Ying hears those words, his expression changes. Realizing his uncle is in danger, he immediately rushes toward the shrine. Cut back to the temple. The atmosphere is terrifying. Tan Chang glares at Jiang Lu and roars, "If you don't have an offering, then hand over your daughter." The elderly Jiang Lu drops to his knees. Crying, he pleads, "My lord, I can't give you my daughter. The government officials already took her away by force." The moment Tan Chang hears that, his anger explodes. "So you dare respect those imperial court officials more than a god?" The truth is, neither side is innocent. The corrupt officials and these fake gods are exactly the same. Both of them are after Jiang Lu's beautiful daughter. Then, the situation becomes even more disgusting. The village elder steps forward. He reveals that he spent his own money to buy Jiang Lu's daughter back from those officials. But he didn't do it to save her. He bought her so he could offer her to Tan Chang as a sacrifice. A few moments later, Jiang Lu's daughter, Jiang Su, is brought into the shrine. She's been forced into a beautiful red wedding dress, prepared like a bride, to be handed over to the god. Seeing his daughter dressed like that, Jiang Lu's heart shatters. He falls at Tan Chang's feet and desperately begs for mercy. "Please, spare my daughter." But Tan Chang doesn't care in the slightest. Instead, he threatens the entire village. "If I don't get the girl today, I'll curse this land with endless drought. Not a single drop of rain will ever fall again." Flawless irony. Without rain, there would be no crops. Without crops, the villagers would starve. And without harvests, there would be no offerings for the gods. But none of that matters to them. All they want is absolute control over humanity. With a single gesture from Tan Chang, his followers brutally beat the old man. They don't stop until Jiang Lu is covered in blood and collapses onto the ground, barely breathing. Then, the massive doors of the shrine burst open. With a thunderous crash, Xue Ying has arrived, but he's too late. By the time he reaches his uncle, Jiang Lu takes his final breath. The man who rescued him as an orphan, the man who raised him like his own son, is gone. Seeing Uncle Jiang lying lifeless on the ground, something inside Xue Ying completely snaps. His eyes fill with killing intent. Meanwhile, Tan Chang casually orders the village elder, "Throw this insolent brat out of my shrine." But Xue Ying doesn't even respond. He slowly turns toward the village elder, his expression completely cold. Then, before anyone can react, he vanishes. In the blink of an eye, he appears right in front of the village elder and throws a single devastating punch. Crack! The village elder's neck twists instantly, 360 degrees. His body drops to the floor, dead before he even realizes what happened. The entire shrine erupts into chaos. The terrified villagers scream and run for their lives, fleeing the temple in complete panic. Now only Xue Ying and the arrogant god Tan Chang are left standing, face to face. Without wasting a second, Tan Chang unleashes a powerful blast of divine energy. It slams straight into Xue Ying's chest and sends him flying into a stone wall. But even after taking such a brutal hit, Xue Ying doesn't flinch. He calmly brushes the dust off his clothes, slowly gets back to his feet, and stares straight at Tan Chang with bloodshot eyes. Then with a cold smile he says, "Done hitting me? Good. Now it's my turn." The time has finally come to reveal the true power of the cultivation he's been hiding for years. Xue Ying takes his stance and activates the first form of the Ox Demon Elephant Strength Fist. His punch shoots forward with explosive speed and overwhelming force. Boom! In a single strike, both of Tan Chang's arms are ripped clean off at the shoulders. The god screams in agony, but Xue Ying isn't finished. He instantly follows up with the second form, unleashing a relentless barrage of punches. Every hit tears Tan Chang's body apart. Realizing he's about to die, Tan Chang completely panics. He desperately begs, "Stop! My name is registered in both the underworld and the imperial court. If you kill me, you'll be breaking the laws of heaven. You'll pay a terrible price for this." But Xue Ying couldn't care less about those so-called heavenly laws. The only thing on his mind is avenging his uncle. He leaps into the air, pours every ounce of strength into his right fist, and delivers one final devastating punch straight into Tan Chang's face. The fake god explodes on the spot, erased from existence. But what happens next is something even Xue Ying never expected. The very people he risked his life to save don't thank him. Instead, they look at him with fear and hatred. From that day on, his name doesn't spread as a hero, but as the sinner who murdered a god. Human nature can be strange sometimes. Xue Ying sacrificed everything to protect those people, yet all he received in return was rejection and hatred. Even so, there isn't a trace of resentment in his heart. Before leaving, he bows to the villagers and sincerely thanks them for giving him a place to live all these years. Then, without another word, he quietly walks away from the village, beginning a journey into the unknown. Only a few hours after his departure, news of a god being killed spreads across the world like wildfire. Two of the most powerful forces immediately spring into action. Both are determined to uncover the true identity of the mysterious snake hunter. The first is the Zhou family, one of the 8 great clans, home to countless powerful Neo-masters. The second is the spirit realm, ruled by the mighty earth god of the region. Both sides immediately send their best investigators to search Xue Ying's abandoned home. Unfortunately for them, they find almost nothing, except a single cultivation manual. The moment they see it, everyone is completely stunned. Meanwhile, Zhou Yang quickly reports everything to his father, Zhou Yihang, the governor of Lingling. "Father," he says, "a simple snake hunter from Tanjiang has not only killed several spirit beasts, he also publicly executed the guardian god of Jiang village. He is now the empire's most wanted criminal, and everyone is hunting him." Zhou Yihang quietly takes a deep breath before replying, "A man who hunts snakes doesn't suddenly kill a god. That boy is no ordinary human." He immediately realizes that Xue Ying is an incredibly talented Neo-master who has been hiding his true strength all along. At the same time, inside the spirit realm, the guardian god of Lingling city, Xue Lingfu, is also furious. He's already discovered that the martial art Liu Ying uses isn't ordinary at all. It's a dangerous demonic technique. Even Zhou Yihang can't help praising him. He admits, "The boy's mastery of this demonic art is unbelievable. Even the elders of our clan couldn't match him." And just like that, the battle behind the scenes begins. On one side, Xue Lingfu orders every guardian god under his command, "No matter what it takes, I want that boy captured alive." On the other side, Zhou Yihang sends out his entire army with the exact same mission: bring Xue Ying back alive. But there was a dark, bloody secret behind those orders. Both leaders secretly told their men, "If the other side reaches Xue Ying before we do, kill him immediately. If we can't have him, neither can they." The next morning, a massive manhunt begins. Soldiers, gods, even innocent civilians are forced to search the forests and mountains for Xue Ying. But Xue Ying isn't the type to hide like a coward. The moment he learns that gods are hunting him, he turns into the hunter instead. One after another, every god who crosses his path ends up dead. Days pass, and more guardian gods fall beneath his brutal fists. Before long, he's already killed more than 5 powerful gods, including the famous Fengyi and several village guardian gods. Watching this terrifying slaughter, the little snake Niu Yuanqi trembles in fear. He nervously says, "Master, if you really want to survive and escape the wrath of these gods, we have to head to Mount Wanwu. It's the only safe place left." The problem is, the mountain isn't just a few miles away. It's over 100 kilometers from where they are. Hearing that, Xue Ying lets out a tired, helpless sigh. "We've only traveled about 10 kilometers, and we've already fought 7 guardian gods." Niu Yuanqi nods seriously. "Master, that was only the beginning. Before we reach Mount Wanwu, we'll have to pass more than 2,000 guardian gods. And the ones guarding the wilderness are far stronger than the village gods. Some of them are spirit beasts, that cultivated all the way to godhood. Sui Ying knows he's already become the #1 target of Lingling City's guardian god. Escaping won't be easy. Just as the two continue discussing their next move, a large squad of heavily armed government officers suddenly blocks their path. Leading them is Ding Guan, the assistant to Lingling's judicial commissioner. He points his sword at Sui Ying and shouts, "Sui Ying, by order of the imperial government, you're under arrest for murdering village elder Jiang. My advice, surrender now or you'll regret it." But Sui Ying doesn't show the slightest fear. With a cold, mocking smile he replies, "That village elder wasn't innocent. He worked with those fake gods, he sold out his own people. He deserved to die. All I did was deliver justice." Before attacking, Ding Guan's pride takes over, and he proudly begins showing off. "Do you even know what a Neo Master really is?" he says. "We aren't ordinary humans. We walk the path of the gods. The stronger we become, the closer we are to becoming gods ourselves." Sui Ying quietly listens, then calmly replies, "I already know all of that, and I also know that your so-called Neo cultivation isn't some divine blessing. It's just another tool, controlled by the powerful clans for their own gain." Then, he looks Ding Guan straight in the eyes and delivers a brutal insult. "So let me put it simply, you're nothing more than the Zhou family's loyal dog. Your life and even your death are both controlled by them. You're just another pawn." The moment those words hit Ding Guan, his entire pride shatters. Completely enraged, he charges at Sui Ying with absolute killing intent, and that's exactly where today's story comes to an end. So far, this Donghua has introduced a dark and dangerous world. On one side, you have the human world, ruled by the 8 great clans and their powerful Neo Masters. On the other, there's the mysterious spirit realm, whose true rulers are still hiding in the shadows. So the real question is, can Sui Ying defeat Ding Guan, and will he survive the army of more than 2,000 guardian gods on his way to Mount Wanwu? We'll find out in the next episode. So that's it for today's video. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. The next part is coming very soon, and trust me, things are only going to get even more intense from here. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.